stains, it might work, sure. And there we go. My own red mix with a brand new binding. Then you take a regular hairnet. This is for the snake skin. You put it over the guitar. But you want to put it where it looks kind of cool and looks snaky. See, that is too squared. Looks like a net, so you want to pull it so it looks diamondy. And when you got the result, you want to tape it down a little bit and then start shooting with the airbrush, darker color. So it's, you know, you can see what you're doing when you take the net off. Sometimes you can spray it in a light coat, and I had to check a few times. It wasn't exactly imprinting onto the guitar, so I had to put the net carefully back down and spray it heavier. That's why from here you can see a diamond. It's much heavier. Again, sometimes the airbrush wants to work and sometimes it doesn't, and it's the most annoying thing, having a tool fail in the middle of a, you know, something that you just doing. You shouldn't have to concentrate on unclogging the damn tool. You can see there's a couple of paint bottles inside the pickup holes, which I just came up with. It keeps the net down, and you know, when the airbrush blows out air, so when you're putting it on it, there we go. See, now we got a little pattern going. It's not finished yet. Kind of got the area what I wanted. Now for each little diamond, you pretty much got to shadow in a little bit. So you go darker, you mix another darker color, and just go each one. And here we go. That's pretty much close to finish. At the end, I'm shooting the burst. That's usually if you see a Les Paul with the sunburst with the yellow inside and the red outside. I'm doing pretty much red on red, but I'm doing it like the 50s. I'm doing a very thin bottom type of burst. On the bottom, it's like it's going to be a little bit, and it's not going to be as defined as the 80s burst. So I'm sticking with the 58, 60 burst. Well, that's pretty much the snake burst. So this is a debut of the Lord Hong Snake Burst. Well, here I decided to add a little more darker to the burst because you couldn't really see it. You know, sometimes you just got to do something, step away from it for a while, come back and look at it, and decide, because once it's clear coated, you're done. So this is adding a darker burst. You know, it's always good to have like a blank piece of paper next to you when you're airbrushing, because you don't know if it's coming out or if it's spitting or if it's, you know, really coming out wrong. So you kind of test it on something, and then hopefully when you reshoot onto the guitar itself, it's coming out the way you want it. So that's pretty much done. Before, well, I didn't clean the binding off yet, but this is what it looks like pretty much before you shoot it with the clear coat. I cleaned the binding off. Now it's ready to be hung by the neck until it is dead. Now it's going to be hung by the neck and then shot with usually lacquer, nitrocellulose lacquer. But I'm actually using polyurethane from my friend Glenn's body shop. But you know what? I used a medium hardener, which I was told for the paint that I'm using, I should be using a slower hardener for water base, so it adheres to the guitar better, which, you know, and set your air gun at 65 pounds per square inch. And just shoot it at night so your neighbors don't see it and call the cops on you. No, I think I might have killed a bunch of mosquitoes that night, which is great. So let it dry for I let it dry for about a week, maybe 5 or 6 days, 7 days, possibly. Just go do something after you dry. Hang it. I've hung it in my house afterwards. Had it outside overnight because it was nice. Now, step 1: wet sand with 800 grit sandpaper. Just like a car, just like a motorcycle. Because after you spray something, it's going to have imperfections. I thought I was going to have a ton of bubbles popping out and just holes. But I tell you, after I sanded it, it was smooth as a professional Gibson factory finish. You can see right there, it's like, it's dull, but it's smooth as anything. That's when you can tell what it's going to look like, especially when you soak it down with water and be like, yeah, this is going to look okay. So step 2, wet sand with 2000 grit. After you finish the 800 grit, you go to 2000. You can pick them up at your local stores these days. About 10 years ago, you couldn't find them in stores like that. You'd have to go to paint stores, which you can barely find. Then after you do the 2000, you do it all. Step 3 would use a fine cut rubbing compound. I'm using a 3M, but yeah, you can use that. I prefer that. I mean, I've tried others, but this really works well. And the cloth you use, it's a microfiber cloth. This is the step where you're gonna lose the dull finish, but it's smooth to the touch. After you sand with 2000, it really is nice. But now you want to make it shine, so what you got to do is rub the fine scratches out and then continue doing that. See right here, I'm doing it by hand, and you feel it actually working. I mean, it took a while for me to find out how this stuff works, but you rub it, and all of a sudden now it's almost like disappears, and then it starts to glide a little bit, and then you realize, wow, this is getting shiny, and then you look at it, and you get a little, you see what you did, and it just keeps you going. It gives you a good workout too. Step 4, rub in a swirl remover. I'm going with Meguiar's swirl remover, and it really works very well. It has these smaller adhesions to cut through the scratches. So, I mean, you just keep rubbing. The more you rub, the better it's going to look. So here is the end result. It has a wet look to it. I'm very happy with it. And thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment or just rate it. Appreciate it. Thank you.